meeting council council. If the fire alarm should go off, it is not a drill. Please exit the building by the exit over there, or the one behind us over here, and assemble at the front. Thank you. Agenda item 5.10.1 is to receive apologies for absence.
Receive apologies from Councillor Chapman.
Okay, I propose we accept those apologies. Can I have a seconder, please? Thank you. And all those in favour of accepting those apologies? Thank you. Unanimous. Can I just remind councillors that if you cannot make a meeting, it is imperative that you do send your apologies. There might be occasions when something crops up and you can't get there at the last minute, but you should send an apology. If you don't, it can count against you as an absence and can become part of the 6-month rule, which we will not debate. Thank you very much. Agenda item 25.10.2 is to note declaration of interest and request for dispensation to discuss and vote on a matter in which a member or co-operative member has a disclosable pecuniary or non-pecuniary interest. Does that apply to anyone here?
It does apply to you.
Yes.
Yes.
And that would be
the order of evidence.
Yes, correct. So, councillor, I will. What agenda item is it?
5.
Yeah, I will not. Can you need to leave the room?
You need to read. Just can't vote on it.
No. Okay. So, Councillor Petermore and myself will not vote on agenda item 24.10.5. Anyone else? Okay. Right. Agenda item 25.10.3 is the open forum where questions concerning items on the agenda can be put to the council by the public during the period. Matters which in the chair's view require debate and or a discussion will be referred to the next committee or council meeting as appropriate. Items not pertaining to the agenda may also be taken at this time at the chair's discretion, but please don't expect an answer. The public forum is restricted to 15 minutes or strictly 3 minutes per person unless the chair allows otherwise. So the floor is open to members of the public. Any questions or comments? Anybody? Okay. Right. You're not a member of the public?
No, but I have. I've got comments to make from members of my constituency. 2 things that I've been asked to ask are: number 1, does anyone know what's happening with the halal restaurants? I know it is the halal, but it's been ongoing for nearly 5 years now. And it's a building site, and it's an absolute mess.
Being worked on at the moment. The issue with it is that they have to start the work within 3 years of receiving planning permission, but there is no end date. It can go on forever if they want. I've spoken to Cheshire East Planning, and they've spoken to the owners. They're working on another project at the moment, apparently, but they are working on it.
Okay.
They're in there on a regular basis. Dry season quite often, it's true.
During the day, you've got one guy who's sort of doing everything, and then putting in trades as needs. So it's intended to continue. It's intended to, because we're not getting any money out of it.
No, of course not. No.
So they want it done as much as we do.
Do we know what it's going to be in the
A
end?
Mediterranean restaurant.
Well, it's been meant to be a Mediterranean restaurant for 5 years.
Yeah, a grill.
Yeah.
Mostly a grill with 100 covers and live bar.
And do they have a proposed end date?
No.
No.
Well, they did. When I spoke to them around Christmas, the guy who's doing the work on it, I thought it would be around March, April.
Which March?
Which year?
I don't know.
They can't enforce, there's no enforcement.
When
Keep it going.
They can use.
They can fly, aren't they?
Yeah.
when the Indian place shut and he moved into the railway temporarily, it was because they were coming in and they were doing it very quickly to turn it into this Mediterranean restaurant. And we've seen so many restaurants open up in Hamforth like that. and the Turkish place Meet and Eat has now expanded, and that's nearly finished. Maybe they could give them the numbers of the people who are doing the work there and get them to agree.
What the link from abroad, if people are doing the cleaning,
Right.
the members of the family coming.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong. They've moved very quickly with that.
I think, because of the family.
And the second thing that I've been asked to mention is trees. As Ash was aware, we had a problem with a tree just over there, and I don't know if you've noticed, there's another one snapped off completely.
It's the same one.
Oh, is it the same one?
Yeah. It had one branch fall off and the rest of the tree couldn't support itself.
Yeah, and despite me sending another email, I've not heard anything about the one that we talked about.
Right.
The big one, which will be a massive problem if anything comes of that.
Yeah. No, we need it just to see like a highway for breakfast. See getting by down, yeah.
That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? No? Okay, let's move on then. Agenda item 25.10.4 is to approve and sign the minutes of the HTC meeting of the 11th of March. Does anybody have any questions, queries or objections? Councillor Small.
One or two queries, if I may. Agenda item 25079. Has there been any progress with respect to the repair of the old SID?
No, not yet. But the new one is up.
And agenda item 250713. Two comments there. Is there any update on the Zoom meeting to get the local council's responses to the local transport plan? And secondly, the meeting with Alderley Edge Parish Council to discuss devolution ideas from Cheshire East Council. Are there any updates there?
Yeah, the new budget meeting.
Oh, that's right.
It's on this agenda, so we'll wait for that item for that one.
Yeah.
I don't know about transport plan though.
Okay, anything else from anybody? Okay, can I have a proposal then please to accept those minutes? And the seconder. Thank you, Councillor Ford. Thank you. Yep, got those. All those in favour? Yep. Any objections? No. Okay, agenda item 25.10.5 is to approve and sign the order of payments for April 25. I will need a proposer and a seconder, and Councillor Peter Moore and myself cannot vote. Thank you.
Councillor Property, Councillor Small.
Oh, I was going to ask.
There you go.
I thought you were seconding.
No, I was.
I have a question.
Go on.
All right, questions then.
Yeah, what's on meter electricity?
It's going to be our Christmas light bill,
Right,
which won't be very much.
are you just guesstimating that?
Yeah, but there's a like a calculation. It's I can't tell you off the top of my head. It's like 10p for every kilowatt hour you use, and I've given them the figures from light, and it was something like 2 kilowatt hours or something.
Well, it's similar to what the lamp.
It's
a
not.
street light.
It's not going to be much. Yeah, it's not going to be much. But I've not actually had the bill, so.
Anyone else?
What's the lamp of peace?
Sorry.
Sorry, Roger.
Oh, I was going to ask, are there several examples of payment in advance in this table? I'm thinking in terms, for example, on the summer planting by the Hanforth Scouts and the Jazz Swing Band for the VE Day celebrations. Are they payments in advance or are they still to come?
Once I get the invoice, I'll pay them. Yeah, but I'm giving you the option to authorise it now. Yeah. The lamp piece is something for VE Day. It's a lamp, if you like, representing people go and I explained it very well online.
Yeah.
Yes,
We're showing a negative on the telephone and broadband, was that?
We were overcharged last month.
anything else from anybody? Okay, I will need a proposer and a seconder then, please. Councillor Smith, Councillor Johnson, Councillor Small, and those in favour.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
okay, agenda item 25.10.6 is to receive a report from the PCSO.
Good finding. I've tried to maintain, well, I've tried to get in contact with Izzy, and we're like ships in the night, we've been crossing. But one thing I need to do is find out, just when I've read this out, is what people here want to see in it. Because it's, again, this is still the same. Burglary 0, theft of motor vehicle 0, theft from motor vehicle 1, van attempted break-in, nothing taken, damage to the lock on the van. Shoplifting 5, 3 from Ham 14, 2 from Summerfield Village Centre. Reports of people missing 2, found safe and well. Suspicious activity 4, someone running through gardens. People was tracked down and found, but no other further update on the job. Car pulled up to an address and shining a light through the window, no forced or damaged entry. Ongoing inquiries, no pattern or relation to other jobs. Violence 5, 2 reports, all singular incidents, no complaint for the victim. 2 verbal arguments, 1 report of a group of youth fighting, patrols attended, no fighting, all in order. ASB 3, all relating to antisocial bikes, mopeds, males wearing balaclavas. That's a recurring thing in this meeting. These clowns that go around on motorbikes,
Yeah.
electric
Illegal
bikes,
bikes, yeah.
illegal bikes. Intelligence submitted, officers aware of issue, no further information. Now, one thing I need to speak to Izzy about, and Gareth to a degree, they're reporting as PCSOs, and we've not had a visit for months from anybody here. Matt Rowbottom's still the local Bobby, isn't he? As I would call him. He's still the Hamforth Bobby. Maybe I could get Matt, because I know Matt quite well. I could get Matt to come down and sit down for the next meeting.
It might be very useful.
Yeah, I'll have a word with Matt. But what do we want to see in this? I mean, to me, this is pretty much a load of guff, you know.
Not thinking this is so much because there's something like the vandalism on that white building again.
Yeah, it doesn't appear on any of this. No.
So there's obviously things that are missing that they're not adding onto there. So, you know, like instances, there's been more because obviously someone said about the building being vandalised again, and someone said that it's sort of, you know, the park has been vandalised as well. So what do you think of that being, and wouldn't that be something we would be?
Yeah, if it's been reported to the police and the police have been to visit it, it should be on here. Because this makes, whether this is just the PCSO's involvement, which I don't know, I can't believe it is.
It will be from the police records, the month of the PCSO.
Well, they can't be doing this little
Well,
a month.
as far as the White House is concerned, I don't think it was reported the first time, wasn't it? It's certainly been reported this time because cars were damaged.
So
And
nobody.
That's what I mean, no, that's not been put down, do you know what I mean? It's little things like that.
Well, people don't report to the police, they report on Facebook.
Who owns that building? It used to be
It's
part of the
private,
Pinewood. Is it not part of the
Private.
Pinewood Hotel?
No.
No. It used to be, didn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
Privately owned, the management company currently is Jones Associates.
Right.
Who
So
are
no one living
on
there,
notice at the moment.
nobody that lived there reported it to the police.
The first time.
Yeah.
Presumably not, otherwise it'd be on the report.
Well,
Wasn't last month, was it?
it was about 2
week,
months
it
ago.
was
wasn't it?
reported to the police last week,
Yeah.
on a weekend, yeah, definitely. Because I've spoken to the residents and reports.
Just to put your point there about reporting stuff or not, talk to people that I know in Tesco's in the village, they're getting shoplifting all the time. Since the security guy was leaving his duties.
Oh, has he been relieved?
Oh yeah, well, whatever reason, I guess cost saving. People just walk out with stuff and they can't. They're told not to stop people. For health and safety, but it's apparently just I don't know what the numbers are, but it's an ongoing thing. It's taking stuff out with alacrity.
And this is a
Not here, is
Tesco.
it? Yeah, little Tesco.
But they've been instructed by their management, do not try and stop.
Yeah,
someone.
you see why, can't you?
Yeah, that's right.
They get battered.
They're not paid to do that.
Yeah.
But it's happening, isn't it?
It
Why
wasn't,
is it not here?
because they don't know how many is. Do they?
Oh, well.
They don't know the size of the problem.
Yeah, I think some do.
But is it being reported to the police?
It's not
It
here.
should be.
That's
Well,
what
is it?
Tesco.
Yeah. Is it not? Yeah. Is it not worth reporting from their point of view?
But the thing is, if it's not reported to the police, the police can't go
No.
in there.
For me, the stats are useless, doesn't it? It doesn't reflect what's going on in
It's
society.
private property, they can only go in if it's done in violence again.
I mean, there was another fracas outside the Pinewood that was commonplace last week or the week before. And you know, the police turned up to that. There's nothing on it here.
Yeah.
In other words, this isn't reflective of what's going on.
No,
in our
not at all, is it?
society, is
No, let me make
So-
a
It
note.
makes it
You know.
pointless, doesn't it?
What's the point of having it if it's not telling us what's really going on?
It looks like the same one every month.
Sorry?
It looks like the same one.
It is, it is. It's near enough.
It's the low level disruption we are more concerned with. Although we need to know this as well, it's the low level, isn't it? It's the aggravating kid who's riding his bike around at midnight, you know, with a horn or something.
Well,
Yeah,
these,
those little things.
this group of ASB bikes, as they're referred to on it, antisocial bikes, mopeds, males wearing balaclavas, that's commonplace round here.
Ongoing, isn't it?
It's, we hear about it every month.
Yeah.
That these clowns are out doing stuff and they don't get rounded up or don't get pulled up, they don't get stopped, and they're riding illegally and they whiz past the back of my house just down here regularly.
Well, in fact, I was driving along on the other night, and one of them was riding on the pavement, and without looking, came straight out of the road to cross. If I hadn't been vigilant, I'd have hit him.
If
That
you-
happens all the time.
If you'd have hit him, it would have been
My fault,
your fault.
Yeah.
It would have been, that's what.
So you've got a camera in your car?
No, it was right down at, past Tesco's.
No, what I'm
by
saying, you've
Bath Lane.
got a camera in your car?
Oh, yes, I have.
Yeah, so if he came out and got hit by
But
the
it's
two,
not just
then
that,
that'd
it would
be
be-
the camera would show that he's
It'll
just
be
come
like
out.
the parent will put it all over social media that it was Sue's fault and.
Oh, yeah,
all
yeah,
of the
yeah.
best things is
Parents are as bad these days,
Yeah, that's what. I'm
looking
getting
after
at.
their molly-coddled little babies.
Yeah,
you
like
know.
all of us are doing anything, that's what I'm getting.
Yeah.
at. It's always that.
But there's as Giles just said, every time I read this, it's like reading the last month's and the month before and the month before.
Nothing ever
No.
improves. I mean, can we request that we get a police officer down
Yeah.
at the
Yeah.
next
I
meeting?
think that would be
So
very helpful.
that-
Councillor Smith.
And if we could perhaps give him a list of the concerns we've got prior to him
Yeah, give them
attending.
feedback of the real world.
That would be a good idea. Councillor Smith.
There seems to be quite a lot of criticism of the written report that we get from the PCSO. We get the written report. It might be not of good quality. I don't see very much point in reading it out laboriously at every
No.
council meeting. I think if councillors are provided with a copy of the report,
Yeah.
anything that they see in it that they want to raise a point on, do so.
Yeah, good point, Roger. Yeah.
Okay, point taken.
Just another quick one. I think they've said before that they can't tell us about ongoing investigations.
Councillor, please.
They've told us that they can't tell us stuff about ongoing investigations where it would impede the investigation. But I suppose it would be useful to know that there are investigations going on, whether they can tell us what's
And give
happening or not.
feedback to them.
Well,
Yeah.
it could be comments on that, you know, the bike people that are riding around have been approached, have been questioned, this has happened, that's happened, and it is ongoing.
Yeah. Just any follow-up they can give
Nobody's
us.
charged, there's no names mentioned or anything. An incident happened at Tesco, we've made an arrest, someone is being charged with it. You know, I mean, there's nothing to do with traffic on here.
Information.
Nothing to do with traffic.
Okay,
We're not
I think
characters
we've got
like
the
we're
point.
speed, and be out with his speed
Another really
every
quick one.
day.
Sorry, go on.
This report does actually have Summerfield Village Centre. That's not within our council area, is it?
Sorry, what?
Summerfield Village Centre.
No,
I don't think that's within our
I
council
don't know
area.
why it's on there.
She's the Summerfield.
Because I think she does Summerfield.
Yeah, she is.
as well, and
She's the Dean Road.
officer.
She's
Yeah.
the Dean Road police officer.
Yeah.
Just use a comment that that's not us.
Okay, I think we've got the gist of that. We want a lot more information. Sorry, council.
Sunday evening, I was walking along Sagers Road, bottom of Sagers Road, and the two PCSOs came out of the woods. There had been a fire set by some people with balaclavas. Within the woods, just walked through, and then they're on Knoll House land.
Oh.
And they set up a small fire, lit it. The fire service tried, they came and put it out. That if the large pile of wood that's currently there should be torched, the whole wood could go up. So the two PCSOs attended, and they said that, you know, we'll keep an eye on it, but that's all we can do.
Can I just say, I spoke to Chris Jensen yesterday, Ross is away at the moment, but he is going to.
We tried to get in touch with the owner, but he's away. Said, he's back now, is it? Yeah, so hopefully we'll get rid of that large lump of wood that's left there.
Yeah, Chris is aware of it.
We've had warnings just recently on the television, haven't we, about people setting fires and barbecues and all that kind of thing. Everywhere, tinder dry. Okay, thank you very much.
No worries. If anyone's got any comments, just bring them to me, because I'm doing a little list there.
So any councillors who have any comments to make, please send them to Councillor Royal, and we'll put them to, hopefully, a police officer.
The sergeant's been before.
Yeah,
Invite the sergeant down.
yeah.
Well, that's what
He's
we've
changed
just
again
done.
now, hasn't he?
It's a while ago, though, isn't it?
Well,
It's a while ago.
requested that we have a police officer in
Yeah.
attendance at next
Yeah.
month.
I'll
But
do,
a
I'll,
handful of police officers.
yeah, I'll speak to
Not
Matt.
somebody from work.
Yeah, I'll speak to Matt.
Okay, thank
Yeah,
you.
because he's what I call a real copper.
Okay, good.
Okay, let's move on. Agenda item 25.10.7 is to receive a report from our handful Cheshire East Ward councillors.
That'll be me. A lot of updates really. At the previous meeting, I reported that the public right of way at the end of Clay Lane, between Clay Lane and Sagars Road, was due to be resurfaced using section 106 funds. It was on the schedule. We were waiting for the date, but unfortunately, during the floods on New Year's Eve, some of the new houses on the Anvil Fairways estate, surprisingly, were flooded. So the resurfacing's been postponed because they now have to investigate a more permeable surface to resurface it with, so that the runoff doesn't flood the houses in the future. But I've asked them and they've agreed they're still going to go ahead and erect bollards, hopefully at either end of the public rights of way, because we're still getting problems with cars using it as a cut through, and it's not safe to drive on. And also it's it will deter fly tipping, which is another issue there. Since car parking charges were introduced in December last year, John spent quite a bit of time out monitoring School Road and Munslow Road. Over a 3-week period, he was out twice a day, counting the number of cars that were using the car park at different times of the day. They're not being used, basically. School Road has 48 spaces, and over a 3-week period, there were an average of 8.9 cars parked on there throughout the day. We got some figures from Cheshire East that showed the income that was being received. And in February, School Road car park was earning £26.83 a day.
Wow.
And Wilmslow Road car park, where there's an average of 13.4 cars a day, was earning £39.62 a day.
Surprise,
We're in
surprise.
talks with Cheshire East Parking Services at the moment, because they're now proposing to put the charges up. The charges will go up and the hours will be extended in May. And I asked for the reason behind that. I want to see the evidence that says that's a good idea, because it's not. It's a ludicrous idea,
Yes.
and they need to scrap the charges
Yeah.
and get the cars off School Road, the park nose to tail on both sides. We're having the parking restrictions at the top of Merriton Road and School Road redone, hopefully in the near future. I spoke to Highways yesterday. And they're
Yellow lines.
They're going to
Yellow lines.
repaint the lines, because I was there a couple of weeks ago with the parking enforcement officer on a Saturday afternoon, and I took him over to Merriton Road, and we ended up having a stand-up row with the restaurant owner.
Yeah.
Because we came out and that's what we were doing,
Yeah.
because I insisted on the parking enforcement officer issuing tickets
Yeah.
to the cars that were parked there, and it was the staff. But they shouldn't be parked there. And the fact that he parks there all the time is not not good enough excuse.
Yeah, what is,
But the parking tickets, because the lines are so faded, cannot be enforced.
Yeah.
So
Isn't
that's
there
going
a
to be
sign
done.
missing as well? That was
yeah.
claimed, there's a sign missing on
There
the
is a
south side of the
sign,
road.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, one of the cars was parked under the sign, and I said, what don't you
All right.
understand about that? It says no parking, and
ridiculous.
you parked underneath it.
So
But
there's
you're
a sign not
parked
missing,
here.
Julie. There's a sign not missing on the south side of the road. That's what they were claiming. There was no sign. There is on the north side of the road,
Yeah.
but not on the south apparently. No, but that's appropriate. I don't know.
I've asked for the signage to be put up. Same on School Road.
Is it?
Same
Yeah.
on Kingston, they've done the yellow wheel lines and then they've had a gap. So there's a car constantly parked in that gap, half on the hump and half not, because they haven't done the paint right along for some strange reason.
Well, like today, right next to the restaurant, there was a black car and it's been parked all day. It was parked when I got there at about 10:30 this morning. It was still there when I left at 4:30. We've obviously not had any parking gap, but it was like, it was, what, 6 or 7 feet from the junction. It was really awkward because you can't, if you're coming out or you're coming to exit there, you can't get to the front without causing an obstruction on this side. It's really, it's ludicrous.
Yeah, I've spent quite a bit of time with the parking enforcement officer, and showed him the places where, you know, the hot spots outside.
Is there a way we can ring when it's something ridiculous like that? Is there something we can ring? Because the other day, for example, there was some garden guys, and so there was a van with trailer right at the corner of Merriton Road on the north side, and the trailer was like a yard off the bloody curb.
Report them to the police because
Right.
that's obstruction.
Is that the way forward?
That is a
Yeah.
police matter.
Yeah. Was that a 101 or 909?
Yeah.
And they'll be there this
Yeah,
week.
well, we're having complaints from one of our new businesses in the village as well. Hive 365, which is a business centre, and they're losing business. They got a considerable grant through Cheshire East to set their business up, and they're actually losing business because people can't park. And when they try and park on School Road, the residents are coming out and harassing them and being quite aggressive, apparently.
Right.
So we've put all this in, well, we are pursuing it with Cheshire East because it's ridiculous. The parking charges shouldn't be on it.
Is there any update down by Push?
I was just going to ask that,
The road
Well, that
down
was
to
the other
Push.
thing. I mean, I've asked them what their plans are for mitigation when the cycle lane's going.
Absolutely,
Because
yeah.
the cycle lane is going in the summer holiday.
And is that going to be a bollarded cycle lane?
It will have wands, and unless we change the lines again, wands all the way down, and armadillos, big rubber bumps, so.
It's just got cars going on.
It's going to be a mandatory
Yeah,
cycle lane anyway, so anybody parking there will be ticketed.
So where are all these cars that, because it's
That's the
full
question.
every day.
There's 40 to 50 cars.
And I don't believe they're from the officers
No.
behind the
It's from the car
traffic.
parks, aren't they?
Yeah, they're from the car parks, yeah.
No. When the planning permission was given for that estate, that business park, there were 66 car parking spaces which were on the planning application, but they can't be enforced now because they weren't meant to be in perpetuity. It was just the planning application, it would seem. So I've spoken to planning enforcement, I've gone back, got the planning application, and there were 66 parking spaces for people who work there, but that can't be enforced apparently.
You could ask Cheshire East if they enforce red routes where things are such as what we've experienced risk to life. That means no stopping, no parking on those zones. They put a red route in. Anything goes there gets immediately towed away.
No, well, anything that's dangerous or obstructive,
Yeah.
it's a police matter, so the police can tow them away.
Well, that's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
it has to be designated as a red route.
Well, it's going to be designated as a mandatory cycle lane, so no parking will be allowed in that cycle lane.
Obviously, a person should get police incursion and then towed away immediately.
Yeah, the problem is getting the police out to it.
When you do phone the police, and I've had it last week, always mention risk to life.
Yes.
Don't say it's a bit of an obstruction and it's annoying. Always just say you're going to witness the risk to life and they have to act on that. So use them words when you're calling the police.
As I understood it, when they put in bollards along the pavement where the Porsche side was, when they put the cycle lane in, so they can't park.
The ones are called wands,
Oh, right,
similar but
yeah,
skinny.
yeah, so they can't park where they're parking now.
Yeah, but if they do park there, then they will be.
Yeah, because there won't be enough room in the cycle lane and those parked cars for through flow traffic.
But that leaves us with 40 to 50 cars.
Yes.
Where do they go?
Where do they go?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll go back to where they were parking before, in the village, in the free car parks.
Well, yeah.
Down there.
The long awaited and hard for parking area on Staff Lane was installed at the end of last year, but we've had a few problems because the surface doesn't seem to be holding very well. The surface is these square lattice
Yeah.
tiles with holes in the middle. I've had reports of people going over on their ankle, and
Yeah, good.
it's not been the best. Cheshire East will be going out to inspect it imminently and snag it and put the problems right, because it's causing a trip hazard at the moment and it's going to cause problems. But it has been a big success because it's taking 8 cars off that bend, so it's working the way we envisaged it would.
Could they not have tarmacked it?
I'm not an engineer, I don't know.
Well, what's wrong with tarmac?
The problem we had there, Tim, that took years and years, and there were objections from some of the residents. Oh, we're losing the green space, which they haven't. They've cut into the green space. The green space is still there. All the trees are still there,
Absolutely.
and it's been done. But to mitigate against losing the green space, these tiles, they put grass seeds in. So presumably, when the grass grows, it's going to look green. But it's a surface that you can park on.
Yeah, we've got it on the grade.
Yeah.
For the fire engine to get in. It looks like a normal playing field. But underneath is the green tarmac.
Yeah, so it's like, trying to please everybody.
Green plastic.
And in the process, it's not, because this surface isn't.
Once the grass grows, you don't really trip on it. It's until the grass grows.
Yeah.
It's a bit uneven,
Yeah, but they have to fill the holes with soil first.
Yeah, and then
That's
let the
what
grass
they're
grow. Yeah.
The incident John was talking about last weekend with the fire at the end of Sagars Road, I put a post on all community sites on Facebook, probably 9 community sites. telling people about it and asking them to speak to the children and explain the hazards of fire, not only to themselves, but to the woodland and the properties. And asking anybody who goes out walking to be extra vigilant about and report any incidents that they see. In conjunction with Onward Housing, we're planning on holding a clean-up day in the village on the, I think it's 26th of April, Saturday that weekend. This will involve Onward providing a skip for any residents to use, and we'll be having a litter pick at the same time, community litter pick. So hopefully.
Hopefully it goes as well as the last one you did.
At a meeting with Cheshire East last Friday, we were informed that the resurfacing and painting of the courts at Merriton Road Park should take place this month, hopefully within the next couple of weeks. And they're going to become available for use in early May. The courts will be booked using the QR code next to the gate or on the Cheshire East website. There will be a number of free time slots throughout the week, and we're hoping that there'll be a Lawn Tennis Association accredited coach available at times to be arranged, and he'll be available free, but he will also be charging for lessons if people want to pay him for lessons. That's the Cheshire East stance on it. I've actually been contacted by a resident who is a senior coach for the Lawn Tennis Association, whose child goes to the Grange, and he's offered to provide coaching sessions to any local children free of charge. I've asked Cheshire East if we can use him as our LTA coach. They weren't that positive about it, but they're going to look into it. But I will push for that, because there's no reason why we should be paying for a coach if we can get one, a resident that's prepared to do it for free, and he's got all the accreditations. So, price for the courts will be £4 an hour, or an annual pass at £40 a year.
Is that for children as well, or do children get it free?
No.
No.
No. It's
disgraceful.
£4 an hour. Yeah, but it's cheaper than the Grange. The Grange were charging £66 for 3 weeks lessons.
Where for?
Yeah, from a tennis coach from Poynton.
Yeah, they hired the school, but it's nothing to do with the school.
It was nothing to do
They
with
hired
the Grange website.
Yeah, but they hired
Yeah.
the building for it.
Yeah, so it is, and it does, it's actually dearer for children than the tennis club, which I pointed out to Cheshire East.
I mean, those tennis courts were put in freely for the kids.
Yeah.
So why, all of a sudden, are we going to stop? What if the kids can't afford it? Are we stopping
There's free
them?
slots, there's going to be free slots.
Well, how do you get a free slot?
By booking on the website or by using the QR code.
Can I just make a point here? We're not 100% behind this.
No,
We think
I'm not.
people have paid for those courses already
Exactly.
in their council
And
tax.
that's the problem that
exactly.
I've
So-
had a number of residents come to us because they're finding out that their kids are going to be charged. It's not fair.
The money is going to towards the upkeep of the course.
Right.
It's going to pay for pressure washing and getting rid of weeds and whatever. I mean, one of the things that I don't understand is that, and as I said to them, people aren't happy about it because we're paying for them through our council tax. We have, but we're paid for the scruffy courts that are there now, and that's how they've remained.
But
So
they
I
weren't
see it as
scruffy when
bonus
they were
really.
put in.
Yeah, they weren't scruffy when they were put in,
tennis
and they were
courts.
well looked after.
I seem to remember that when Councillor John Smith spoke to somebody from the council, that there was an awful lot of money that we were supposed to have had spent on our parks. Sometime, I think it was last year, wasn't it?
About 2 years ago, 18 months, 2
Yeah.
years ago, yes.
We've had nothing spent on our parks.
I brought
We
that
have,
up.
we've had a lot of money spent on Merriton Road Park. And all
Doing
that.
what?
Doing what?
Doing what?
Lots of things,
Well,
but I
go
can't
on,
tell you off the
finish
top of my
three.
head, but yeah.
I wish I
Well,
could see
can I
the
just
difference.
say,
More
that
money
Meredith
spent on
Road
Road
Park
Park than any
is
other park.
scruffy.
Yes,
Yeah.
it
It
is.
looks
It's
dreadful.
awful.
Half of the things don't work in the playground. It's just
Well,
dreadful. So how they can justify charging, I just don't understand it. I'm not getting at you,
No, it's not.
either of you. I just think it's disgraceful
Yeah.
on behalf of Cheshire.
But as I said to them, who's going to police it? Who's going to be there when somebody pays £4 and gets a key code? Who's to say they don't play for an hour and then let somebody
Of course that's going to happen. It's going to happen everywhere. You know.
Right, okay.
There will be a number of free
Just 1
slots.
second.
Oh,
Thank you very much.
oh no,
Sorry,
the
not
last thing is,
Oh, yes, go on.
last week, the latest public defibrillator was installed at Just Gymnastics at Honford Hall on South Baker Drive. This was donated by Sarah Knight, who I work with to deliver the CPR training to residents. It was donated to her following the heart attack that she had at Parnes Wood, where she was successfully resuscitated by members of the public who had had CPR training. So this now brings the number of defibrillators in hand forth up to 18, hopefully within reach of any resident who may need one.
And can I just say, sorry Roger, that there is one now at the back of the wagon and horse.
Has the map been updated?
No, we need to update the map.
Right, we must update the map so that people know where they are, because when you ask people, the only one they know about is the top of Meryton Road. So we need to make it more public.
Yeah, and it's actually placed, if you go into the kiddies area, then it's accessible from there. It's accessible for people who are doing on bowling green,
Yeah,
and it's within 10, 20 yards of someone who might need it from the pub.
right.
Can I ask as well, with the defib machines, are they not key code locked? How do you, if there's an emergency?
You ring, you dial, you ring 999 and they give you the code. Perhaps we should put in that out as well. 1 second, Councillor Small.
There's a park near me that there's not been repaired or anything. Stuff has just been removed and like no one's been like out repairing it or putting it back.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's constant.
Possibly.
So I can understand that. We spoke with people from the parks organisation in Cheshire East and requested that they relook at Parsonage Park
Oh, good.
and tell us what they're going to do with it.
Yeah, because it's very dilapidated, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's
We actually pointed this out to them at least 18 months ago, and they're just trying to wander away from it. But we brought it back to the attention of people who are in a senior position.
So Councillor Julie Smith has said that we've had a lot of money spent from Cheshire East in Handford, but she couldn't tell us.
Section 106 money on Meryton Road.
Yeah, but where? That's what we need to.
Yes, but it goes over quite a length of time.
Yeah.
But there was, let's quickly, Stanley Hall Park, including the equipment that the Residents Association put in there,
Yeah.
it's about 300,000 quid.
Yeah.
Park itself, the park group, they got 122,000,
22,000.
yeah, about that, yeah. Which was gained from grants.
Yeah, yeah.
People went out and got grants for. 126,000 in the same period was spent on Meryton Road Park by Cheshire East, by the ward councillor, who just goes in, grabs the money and says, thanks very much, it's going in that park, because I'm a member of the
I
group.
know.
So that's where it's all been paid. And even the new drainage that they've done now for the pond, because the drainage was coming up towards the swing area, and they've actually dug out a big hole now in the pond. It's probably about 1 metre, 2 metres wide, that's all. And because there was a pair of dogs, small children falling in there. So they're taking some sort of action on that.
Okay. Sorry, one last question please, because time's going on.
One quick question to either of our two ward councillors. Friends of Handforth Station entertained a deputation from Network Rail during the week, during which it was alleged that Network Rail had now submitted to Cheshire East Council what for want of a better term was described as a pre-application, which I guess is some kind of indication of exactly what's going to happen at the station when the lifts are installed. The installation of the lifts is not going to follow the standard planning application system. Network Rail does not need to use that. But I wondered whether either of our two town councillors, ward councillors, can get hold of a copy of whatever pre-application document was submitted to Cheshire East Council. If you could do that, that would be great.
So that's been submitted to Cheshire East
Yes.
by Network Rail.
Yes.
Okay, let's move on, please. Our time is going. 2510.8 is motion to, oh, sorry, thank you to our ward councillor. Sorry, councillor. Agenda item 2510.8 is the motion to sign section 1 of the annual governance statement 24-25 of the year end 31st of March 25 annual return. Does anybody have an issue with anything on that? Okay. Can I have a proposer then, please? Thank you, Councillor Sampson. Seconder, please, Councillor Johnson. All those in favour? Thank you. Agenda item 2510.9 is to sign section 2 of the accounting statement 24-25 of the year end 31st of March 25 annual return. May I have a proposer or questions if there are any? Proposer? Thank you, Councillor Sampson. Seconder? Thank you, Councillor Small. All those in favour? Thank you. Sorry?
Before we can like get the sign
Yeah, that's it. No more.
Yep.
That's it, super. Okay. Agenda item 2510.10 is the motion to continue HTC's monthly funding support to Hope Central of up to £100 a month, proposed by Malcolm. Any comments, questions?
Hang on.
Yes.
Can it be increased?
Sorry?
Can it be increased?
I
just think you do a really good job on the price of things that have gone up now.
It's true they have, however, if we want to stay within budget.
Yeah, check this there. I should know this at the top of my head, but just on finance. Yeah. Let's have a look. We could give them a bit.
What he's suggesting is a bit more.
Yeah, what's everyone suggesting? Let's have a look at the overall. I'm not saying we can't use them, saying that helps. I'm just saying what could be for
Can we also do a food drop here for Hope Central? Can we do a food drop here for Hope Central? You know, because we've got loads of different groups.
They already have a food drop.
No, I'm just thinking if we have one here, like our veterans could bring something in, or so the all the active, you know, if we've got like, you know, if they're just here and like
We've got one of the greys, it's just a red plastic bin that says donations.
Yeah.
I think, to be fair, I speak quite regularly with Jackie, who runs the Hope Central, the food element of it, and they would prefer money because they know there are certain things that they are always very short of, so they would prefer to then go out and spend the money on getting those particular things. They get inundated with, you know, specific things.
Barney from Hope Central.
Yeah.
And he was saying that because we were asking about what food donations you get and whatnot, and he was saying about there's a site that you can go on, and it'll tell, and so if people don't want to give money, it tells them what they need, instead of what, you know, so I don't know if that can put back a little note, like, do you know what I mean, it just helps out, I don't know.
That's something
Yeah,
for actually
okay.
put on the website rather than.
Yeah.
Sorry, very too. Okay, to keep it in, well, within budget, we can go to 125 per month, which gives them £1,500 for the year.
Okay, we'll propose an amendment then to change that to 125. Does anybody have any comments to make on that?
No problem with that amount taking place. It's just that I'm sure that they know that if there's an extreme event or something,
Yeah.
they can always come to the council.
Yes, good point.
Yeah.
Yes, perhaps we need to
Yeah.
document that and let them know. Okay, can I propose that then? Can I have a second, please? Thank you. You've got those? All those in favour? Yeah, unanimous. Thank you very much. 25/10/11 is to provide an update on the BE 80th anniversary event for Hamble. Councillor Edward Beach.
Everything's going well, I've got, not really got much of it. Just that we did, me and Ashley sat down and did like the posters and leaflets, so they're all done now, so ready to be printed. But obviously you're doing that thing, is it next week, the week after, putting the
I think next week we're going to put the VE roundels,
yeah,
some of the advertising for the VE, I'll put some bunting up here at the youth centre, tastefully like we did for VE Day.
Also, Silk FM's radio advertisement is so good.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've heard it, it's amazing.
Yeah, I
It's
believe it's
really
good.
It's so
Very
good.
good.
Yeah, I was like really impressed. I was like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
really good.
Worth the money.
Oh, 100%, yeah, it really was. And it also was a bit annoying because Runslow, after we put the date out, Runslow decided to do their VE day on the same day at the same time.
Oh, they're not.
They are, exactly, and they only put the dates out just after we put our dates on it, and I was like, oh.
They were told.
Yeah, but because I thought we were all in cahoots together where we were organising around each other. I thought that was what the deal was. I spoke to you about.
Yeah,
So we were
the town mayor phoned me 3 times asking us what our date was going to be. We told him in January. He said, oh yeah, we won't be able to think around then.
Yeah.
We'll do a different date.
No,
around that date.
A lot of people have done it the weekend before because it's bank holiday, so we decided to do it the weekend after, just so it didn't. We thought that a lot of people do it at that because it's bank holiday, so we thought we'd do it the week after just to. But yeah,
Can I just make an observation? Somebody, well, a couple of people, older people have said to me about the poster. Can you tell me what the uniform is of the person on the left-hand side? Because it's been said it's a Luftwaffe uniform, and you can see the eagle on the cap.
Phil actually that.
I'll be honest, the people are going on about it, it's the victory in Europe, so it's European.
There's no victory for the Germans, was there?
No, but.
One at a time, councillor, please.
You what, sorry?
I said the Germans gave
I
up.
know, but I mean, even because the image was generated through AI, and you know, I've gone through it loads of times to try and find something that is a bit more like. So that's why it's the way it is. And it's just people being finicky, just like get over it. Like, it's just
not. No, sorry, it's the older generation.
I know, but it's, you know, we're not gonna come here and get like, you know, put in a headlock by someone in a, you know.
Okay, councillor Small.
Just the point on that. That's not being finicky. He was 20 years in the army.
So my husband,
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about this guy in the pub. They said, who's this then? Is it documents?
That's absolutely fine, you can bring it to me, if they've got a problem, I'm happy to.
I just think they should have the British Army there.
They were the British Army, I swear. It doesn't look German to me either, it just
Looks Italian to me.
It looks like nothing.
Looks like that.
It just looks like a ball.
But it's got boots on that.
Russian,
Yeah. Can I just point out, ladies and gentlemen, how much work and effort has gone in by Councillor Edward Beach on this. And frankly, if somebody wants to criticise something, please come and criticise to our face. don't talk about it behind our back. If you've got a problem, come and tell us about it rather than just whisper about it. Because quite honestly, there's hours and hours of work gone into this. And I would like to remind everybody that no town councillor gets paid at all. It's all their own free time. Thank you. Go on, Councillor.
The Friends of Handforth Station would like to have a stall at the VE Day celebrations. Very preferably, but one which has access to a PowerPoint.
We check that one. We organise.
The only thing is, we've got quite a lot of like inflatables that are going to be there on the day, and they're going to need a lot of power.
Why do you need a PowerPoint?
Well, we're hoping to have an electronic display.
What is the time, please?
I got eye contact there.
One at a time. Councillor Small was still talking.
Sorry, I thought you'd finished, Roger. Sorry.
The theme of our display would be the role of Handforth's military railways during the Second World War. We're thinking in terms of RAF 61MU and the Army branch line which ran to Hall Road. We have a lot of photographs there. We even have examples of the dialogue between German prisoners of war and the RAF personnel.
Why don't you like inside? Inside.
Yeah, but
You don't have to do it outside.
No, that would be fine. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
How big is the, because we're putting a cafe in here, and maybe we could put it in
Yeah.
cafe.
On that screen?
Yeah.
That's good.
Well,
Yeah, the
Yeah, you
whole
will-
thing used.
yeah.
Okay, can I ask you to individually discuss this rather than
That's
across
good,
the
really
board,
good point.
Councillor? Thank you.
Thank you.
I would like a council stall as well. Another quick point is that Ash himself identified, was it 4 points we're going to have external sockets fitted
Yeah.
at little cost? So they'd be hopefully, well, yes, has dragged a bit, that, so we must organise that time for the, that will resolve the main issue.
As long as it's not raining.
Sorry?
As long as it's not raining.
Just like a small point, I know it's a bit nitpicky because I know you put a lot of time into it. But would it work in the future for events like this to look into like local artists we could look at for like posters and stuff like that? Just purely out of
It's just cost.
Yeah.
I'd rather just if we can try and keep the costs down.
Yeah.
Like, because I know that it would be a really nice idea to do that, but people will just look at it and we're not, I don't know, I just think it's just keeping the cost down.
We have advertised it as free.
Yeah, because I think if you
Any
paid an
cost
artist 300.
the town council are having to.
I'd rather put that money into something else.
That's fair.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah, of course.
And if I just give you a bit of insight of what the military are like Tim will say, we nitpick everything. Nothing will ever be correct to the level.
That's all right, you're not coming.
Yeah. Do you know what? I don't honestly.
Only one positive
I ask him
people.
every time we put something on, that will come right. That will go right, because I know I've had it. Yeah, you have people all the time like, oh, that's the wrong bag. That's the wrong shift. That's not that colour. Blah 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 blah. The hat's wrong. And like, do you know what I mean? That's what I like.
Joanna, you're doing a wonderful job. Thank you for all that you've done.
Okay, thank you. Sorry.
Just like to add that on the Thursday, the 8th, which is the actual day, we were going to have a beacon lit down here, but there was problems with the fire regulations. So what we're having, instead of the paddock, we're going to have a table at the centre with the flag, Union flag, and we've got a lantern which Ashley's purchased, which will be lit at 9:30 on the day, or on the night, I mean. Everyone's welcome.
Yeah, this is Chris's idea, because I think you come up with the centre pattern.
I think it's a better idea.
I think it's a really good idea. Yeah.
Very good idea. Thank you very much. Thanks for all your hard work already. Okay, let's move on to agenda item 25.10.12, which is to receive recommendations from the Finance Committee and agree a grant application for Handforth Court Tennis Club, £1,000. Councillor Sampson.
Yes, we had a representative come from the tennis club to say what they were going to spend the money on, and apparently one of the courts are in quite disrepair, and they've asked us if we could grant £1,000, which everybody agreed to, and I'm asking the full council to accept the Finance Committee's recommendations.
Okay, councillor
I
Smith.
propose that we accept the recommendation.
Thank you. Can we
Thank
have a second then? Yeah. Okay, all those in favour? Unanimous. Thank you very much. Agenda item 25/10/13 is to discuss the recent CEC local transport plan consultation and agree a response on behalf of the town council. We were all sent a response which was put together, I think, by councillor Small mostly, and Ashton. Councillor Small. I think it was an excellent response. I couldn't find anything to add to it, so thank you very much, councillor Small. Anybody else?
No, can I agree that we accept what
Yes,
Councillor Small
absolutely.
has recommended?
No comments.
I don't think he's, I think
Okay.
he's covered all the
Well,
salient
Eloquently.
points.
I don't think I had, in fact.
Well, you've been very modest.
Well, not at all, because there are elements in that list of items which had the designation HAN 1, HAN 2, etc., that I know virtually nothing about. And I would.
I think we take it as it stands, councillor Small. It would take too much time to do anything further. I think it's an excellent document as it is.
All I wanted to say was that if any councillor sees that there is something incorrect in what I've written or that they want to expand on, please send it into Ashley and we'll accommodate it.
Yes, absolutely. From
My
just one moment. Yeah, I don't think there's any comments from any councillors, so would you like to propose?
Yeah, I'd like to propose that we accept Councillor Small's recommendations.
May I have a second?
And I think he's done an absolute
So
wonderful
do I.
job in
Second,
detailing it out.
All those in favour? Thank you, and my thanks to councillor Small for all the excellent job you did putting it together. Thank you very much indeed. Agenda item 25/10/14 is to receive an update from the Communications Working Group, councillor Peter Moore and councillor Liz Harrison.
Yeah. Well, first thing is that we've made an Instagram today. So we have an Instagram account that's linked to our Facebook account. That's just the handle of Handball Town Council, all as one word. We're hoping to just post in tandem with the Facebook anything that comes on. We do intend to work on some kind of posting format for both Instagram and Facebook in the future. Obviously, in Facebook's Instagram's a bit more picture based. Another one is on consultations. I think we'd like to sort of trial some consultation types up in the paddock. I suppose Councillor Peter can tell you more about that. It's hopefully if we can have one done this month, just as a general trial run of seeing how people engage with us and how people want to engage with us. So I'll keep in contact with that if there's any updates.
Thank you, councillor Moore.
Yep, so Instagram's done, as Luke said. We've been looking at mission stalls, which we mentioned. We're there definitely every day. And last meeting talked about having the posters we need to have designed for the stall. And I talked about, and you've got to supply those vans that can make the boards up and what have you, but I thought we've got a bloody printer which does A3 on card. Why am I spending 40 quid on the board? And then we can create, bespoke things for particular things, not having to bin stuff or paying £40 every time it's something a bit different. So I've done a mock-up just to give a flavour of what we can do. It is A4 rather than A3, but it'll do A3, which is the size of the display board. We can double up, so we can have a bigger display, but in 2 halves and so on. And the machine we've got is colour, and it'll do on cards. So I've got some examples before I show you that. So the plan is to V-Day, but have a dummy run and get back the idea which we've had in the past of being in the paddock and talking to people and utilising Facebook, obviously. So the sort of formats we're trying to create will be used on Facebook, shop windows, and as posters on the stall and what have you. And that's it really, but that's the idea. So we'll have a dummy run at some point this month. So I've got, gives you an example. It's not perfect, but it gives you an idea of a few here. pass around. It gives you so it's card, it's not paper, so it will stick onto with some rounds. The wording is not in stone. It gives it a sort of flavour of the sort of thing we can create. That will be the sort of thing you stick in the window. We're in the paddock. It could be discussing anything. It could be some referendum type thing, or just pushing out information. Come and see us and so on. And it'll have the Instagram logo as well on the bottom of it, and they all work, by the way. The QR code is the website. It's on the internet.
Where it says who are we, you're going to put photographs with names.
Why not? Yeah, that's what I want to do. Feedback and ideas.
So we have a little thing.
So it could be. It could be one of the board is just the picture of us. Yeah, why not? Yeah, that can be used over and over again. So say the Facebook, if it's on the internet, we'll link you to Facebook. The website links to the website, and the QR code obviously works in the normal way.
So when are you having your first one in the paddock?
Not sure yet. We need to have one this month at some stage.
Yeah, we'll just plan, and then if we can keep in touch with you just to see when everyone's will be available to do that.
If you're trying to promote the VE Day, you need to
do
it sooner rather than
absolutely,
later.
Yeah. That could be one thing. We're going to be pushing the website, Facebook, Instagram, obviously, but anything else which is appropriate, like VE Day, yeah, why not?
Okay.
So I need to get tracking and design some more posters.
Again, my thanks to Councillor Petermore and to Harrison for their hard work, I know, because they've been talking on the Zoom or whatever it is on regular occasions over the last few weeks. So thank you very much for your time, gentlemen. Okay, let's go on to agenda item 25.10.15 to receive an update from Councillor Harrison following the meeting, the devolution meeting with Alderley Edge Parish Council.
Yep, so we had a meeting with some of the members of Alderley Edge Parish Council and local town council, and we're working to propose the formation of a joint devolution working group. So that would be a working group made of, I think we proposed 2 councillors from each of our respective councils. And the point of that basically is to discuss between us what the impacts of the Cheshire and Warrington devolution will be, but also just to find any opportunities for our 3 councils to work together, just across more strategic issues. We've not really made anything full on official yet. We're still waiting to have some proper contracts that we can all agree to, and we'd agree to that as a whole council. Yeah, that's everything I've got. If anyone's got any questions.
At some point you'll be coming to ask the council to put forward 3 people. Which you will be one, obviously.
Well, I'd like to put myself to it anyway. It'd be 2 people per council. I think I've spoken to a few councillors. They've said 2 doesn't seem like quite a lot, so I will keep in touch with them. But if there's anything else sort of in terms of issues you'd like us to bring forward as a joint forum, then feel free to let me know and let any other councillors know once to set it up on there.
And we're also involved in it as well.
Yeah, so Wilmslow Town Council, Alderley Edge Parish Council, and it's us.
Right.
Okay. Any questions from anybody on that?
Might just help with the dates.
Sorry?
We all get the dates different. They're also, if 6 people are talking, representing the 3 parish councils, yeah, they can say, well, you have that date, we'll have that date. So they're not getting mixed up. What would be each one? The VE day.
Yes. I'm sure they'll cover all of that. Okay, let's move on to agenda item 25.10.16, which is to receive notices and correspondence.
Right, there's not particularly notice on correspondence, but since the Community Ownership Fund closed last year, Labour government shut it down and wouldn't even let us apply in the end after all the umming and ahhing. So we have, I spoke to the National Lottery mid last year, and they had no money left for funding, but their new round of funding is now opened up. So we've just recently, Sue, Roger and I had a chat with the National Lottery representative about the best way to go about getting some funds for this place, and so forth, to do our wish list, what came from the structural report. Only thing we need to come to council for at the moment, they need a minuted elected member to represent the council
Can I propose that we give councillor Moore
Yeah.
forward if he's willing to take it?
In fact, the National Lottery want us to specify 2 contacts, a senior contact who has to be legally responsible for the financial affairs of any grant that's issued. That must be, of course, Ashley.
Ashley.
The other one is described as the main contact. And the rules are that the main contact has to be authorised by the governing body of your organisation to submit this application and accept the declaration on their behalf. It's quite evident when you go through the pile of application forms and so on that they are going to fact check everything that you write down on your application, to the extent that they want to know my name and address, how long I've lived there, where I lived before that, how long I lived at that address, etc. And the same for the other contact as well. So what Ashley said is correct. We need the council tonight to vote on who is to be the main contact and to authorise the main contact to submit the application in due course.
Can I propose then that the main contact is you, councillor Small? Can I have a seconder on that, please? Councillor Johnson? Can't have all those in. Oh, sorry, was that a question?
The crosshairs are there.
Can we vote, please, on those in favour? Thank you.
Are you not voting, Roger?
Or did
Can I just say? Yes. We have to
You're the finance.
Can I just say that having attended the meeting with the National Lottery, and now seen the form that has to be filled in, that it is a tremendous amount of work. Bearing in mind that the National Lottery have, was it £1.5 million to give
For the
away?
Cheshire East
Which
area.
is typically spread between about 5 or 6 applications. I have to say that the 3 of us came to the conclusion that we would be extremely lucky if we got the lottery, anything from the lottery. However, that doesn't take away the fact that I know that Councillor Small and Ashley are going to spend some considerable hours on this form because it is not an easy task. So my thank you to both of you for that. Okay, sorry, yes.
I'll just ask what sort of amount of funding you would be seeking from the lottery.
We're thinking around 220,000.
That will involve refurbishment of this building, temporary support for the salary of an additional employee who might be termed the manager for the building, and also some help with the running costs of the building for the first 2 years.
Okay. Anything else? No one notices?
No, we just have to do that, yeah.
Agenda item 25/17 is just to confirm the date for the annual town meeting, which will be Tuesday, the 29th of September. You are all very welcome. You do not have to come. There's only myself and the clerk have to attend, but any support will be very gratefully received.
Yes, yes.
Agenda item 25/10/18 is to agree the date of the HTC annual general meeting, the town council meeting, to be held on the 13th of May 2025 at 6:45, and you are all required to attend that. Agenda item 25/10/19 is to agree the date of the next HTC full council meeting to be held on the 13th of May 2025 at 7:30 p.m. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time, ladies and gentlemen.
Is that one to actually push on the paddock and stores at the end of your meeting? Go on.